Hey there, thanks for tuning in. Each week I'm going to look to add more value in a very condensed and specific way to upgrade aspects of your life, better introduce healthier habits, just tips and tricks. Because I became a pioneer of this non-toxic, all-natural health movement 2 years ago, a lot of those suggestions and implementations are going to include essential oils, but not all of them. So please stay with me as we all just upgrade our lives or devote some attention to areas that maybe need it. So off the bat, I knew I wanted to talk about something that affects all of us. And I chose to talk about sleep and why it's essential for all of our lives and our health, our immune systems, every facet of our life. Not only because when I started my health journey with essential oils, this was the first out of the go, like bang experience that really upgraded, every aspect of our life, because sleep is the foundation for how we live our lives, right? It's critical for immune function, critical for our metabolisms, our memories, and just temperament, right? So sleep really is something that a lot of us all think about all the time, but we're not devoting enough time to making sure that we get what we need. So I started to dive in and do some research about this, as far as the first topic that we really dive into, because we're going to spend a third of our life sleeping, right? Hopefully. And how to just better improve the experience. Okay, so stay tuned here for just some little information that I found to be interesting that I want to share with you. I'm going to rely on my notes here so I don't miss anything, and look forward to any of your comments or just interactions of what you're doing that's really helping, questions you might have, or anything that comes to your mind. So look forward to hearing from you. But let's talk about sleep and how sleep deprivation really disrupts everything from the neurotransmitters in our brain, and our body's ability to handle stress. Okay, so when I first dove into this realm of healthcare, did I see that stress and sleep are deeply correlated, right? And it's just common sense that if you're not getting the sleep your body needs, you're more stressed. When you're more stressed, you're not getting the sleep your body needs, okay? So it just becomes this vicious cycle, and I think that oftentimes it leads to, most commonly people are just living for the weekend or living for vacation mode, right? So that they can actually catch up or rest appropriately, right? Well, anyways, so that's how it kind of manifests. And it plays a critical role in our immune function, right? When we're not getting the sleep our body needs, our body is beaten down. You're more susceptible to being sick. And in fact, when I looked into this, the effect that sleep has on our heart health, right? Or even can lead to cancers or diabetes. It's really important to kind of go back to that fundamental base of giving our body what it needs, right? We're all human creatures that need to sleep and need a higher quality, better quality of sleep. And so this is also what our body does most of its repairing. Okay, so I want to help introduce some rituals or some tips and tricks that we can do to enhance everybody's experience, because it's kind of like shooting fish in a barrel that everybody needs better sleep. Okay, so I looked up these statistics and I thought that this was interesting, that from the American Sleep Association, 40% of us from the ages of 40 to 59 and 37% of us from 20 to 39 have reported not getting regular amounts of good sleep. Okay, so, and I know that it's more than that. That's just a mere snapshot of how many people are really struggling in this area. And approximately, according to the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, there has been approximately $63 billion that is lost due to insomnia. And I thought this was an interesting statistic, and I'm actually not quite sure I fully understand it. Does that mean that because people didn't sleep well, that they lost money in their businesses? We can see through studies that not getting the sleep that your body needs is highly correlated to making poor decisions. We've seen that in a lot of different ways. And even just in our military, right? They would say that they never send a drunk soldier into battle, but when you're not getting the sleep your body needs and you're living on like 4 or less hours of sleep, like it's equivalent to the same thing, right? So everybody is just in a state right now where we all need to be making better decisions, controlling what we can control, right? I always say control the controllables, and this is one of them. So, and I also recently talked to, a lot of this was stemming from a conversation that I had with one of my good friends who travels a lot internationally and is constantly in a different time zone and just can't ever seem to keep up. And so I talked to my friend and said, can you notice these areas, right? I want to point out specific areas in your life and see how they're being affected of sleep. And I thought this was really interesting because I did this with food choices, with exercise, supplements, and just noticing your body in different time zones. Okay, and so this person got back to me. They said that their exercise is just obviously not what it could be, right? Because they're so tired. The supplements aren't absorbing appropriately, which is interesting because when you find something that really works for you and then you introduce something like sleep deprivation or time zones or travel, it really has an effect. Food choices. You automatically, like, I had her keep a journal of what she was eating, and she says that she just naturally would make poor choices because it was easier or just more accessible, right? And 70% of our serotonin levels are controlled in our gut, right? So they always say, oh, just what does your gut say, or follow your gut, or what, intuition, right? That is what we feed our body, okay? So all the 70% of those, our mood, depression, our choices are going to be controlled by our gut, which is really interesting and another topic that I might dive into a little bit later. But really trying to condense this for the masses and hope that this is sustainable for you. So I thought that was really interesting in how somnia affects those aspects of our life. And so I started to think, aside from essential oils, which has just been an incredible game changer, okay? Aside from essential oils, which I'll get to in just a moment, I wanted to create tips and tricks that you can introduce to help your body have that cognitive ritual to shut down at night, okay? Regardless of what time zone you're in, regardless of what your schedule is, maybe behaviors that we can introduce to just increase the quality of sleep that we get. And so the first thing I thought of was do something extremely boring, okay? Like, do something extremely boring or read something that is just going to like knock you out, okay? Whether that's a mathematic book or, I don't know, maybe it's a really, thorough scientific article. Read something or do something that is just mind-numbingly boring to you, okay? So that's the first thing that I can suggest is make time for that. Whatever's boring to you, right? Do that, okay? And then another thing is that studies have shown that if you count backwards from 300 by threes, that is going to be too hard for your mind to fully grasp, and you're not going to get the full length, right? But that's an act that you can do, that you can center your senses around to just help your mind shut down and doze off, okay? So I looked into that. What was something else? I don't want to. Let's see. Certain acts, like brushing your teeth, right? That's something that we usually all do right before bed. Keep up with that. Maybe it's a skincare routine. It's something that you're doing to allow your body to shut down the process, okay? It could also be dimming the lights. You're going to want to dim the lights and set the environment for relaxation. Have a cup of tea. Have a glass of warm milk. Be cognitive of the amount of caffeine that you're having throughout the day, because if you have that midday cup of coffee at 2 o'clock and caffeine's going to stay in your system for 8 to 11 hours, let's say 8, that's going to keep you up till at least 10, okay? And then your body's going to start to come down from that. So just be cognitive about what you're feeding your body through the day, and the times that you're doing that. And at night, just kind of create a ritual that you really can grasp and enjoy. So I love that. Gosh, there's so much to share here. This is where your body does most of its healing, growing, and resting. Okay, so it's really important for that. I'm bouncing around my notes here. One of the things that is, as we talk about cognitive rituals, that I love to do is I love diffusers. Okay, diffusers, they look like this. Okay, I have one at my desk. I have them in every room of my home, and they permeate essential oils and fragrance. Well, an aroma. I was going to say fragrance, but that's misleading. Okay, so they permeate essential oils and aroma throughout the space, creating and setting the environment. So whether you have kids that you're looking to get on a ritual or whether it's yourself, put this on maybe 30 minutes before you try to go to bed, just to help fill the room and create a sense of relaxation. And what we breathe in through our senses, right, affects our so many different aspects of our body, but it kind of shuts down parts of the brain that just allow for relaxation. Okay, you can control that environment. So that's one of the things that I absolutely love. Now, leading into some of the essential oils, guys, when I started this journey, okay, I admittingly, like, I didn't really know anything about essential oils, but I knew their potential, and I was drawn to it in a way that I couldn't ignore. And I thought, you know what, I have to be a part of this in a really big way. So I just quit my job and I got all the oils, and I'm standing in front of hundreds of oils, and I go to my partner and I said, what's wrong with us? And he said, give me something for sleep. And so I looked it up in this book, and it said to take this one oil and put it behind his big toe. And I was like, what in the world? I'm like, this is a really weird road, but let's just roll with it and see what happens, okay? So I took this oil. It was called Vetiver, and Vetiver is an amazing oil. It's one of our most favorite oils in our whole home. We use it every night for sleep. But so I take this oil and I put it on the bottom of his big toe, and he went out like a tranquilizer, okay? And so I remember thinking about it in the moment, but wasn't going to put a whole lot of stock in that. Maybe he was tired, whatnot. And so he wakes up the next morning and he said, I forgot what it was like to get such great sleep. And then the second morning he wakes up after we did the same thing, and he said, I need to get you in with the VA so that you can work with people who just can't shut their minds off at night. And from then, I think that was the first realization that I was like, this is going to be the most emotional and rewarding journey that I've ever been a part of. And it has fully exceeded any expectations that I had for it. And so now we are getting the best quality night's sleep every night in our home. And if we think about how sleep and stress are so strongly correlated, when you're getting what your body needs, and you're able to process food correctly, you have a correct digestion, right? Your body's absorbing the nutrients from the things that you're feeding it. Your immune system is stronger, right? Your temperament is stronger. You have more mental clarity and so many different aspects of your life. Like, this has been such an incredible game changer. So in our home, one of our routines is that we have a diffuser going every night, which sets the tone. I also like to be I really appreciate my skincare routine, and it is one of the most enjoyable things that I could add to my day. It's like a gift to just kind of close out the space, cleanse and purify my skin topically, just feel fully refreshed before going to bed. But that's a part of the shutdown, right? That's a part of the ritual that I do every night. And then we also continue to take the bottle of oil. Is downstairs, and we have it, we put this on the bottom of our big toe. We'll even put this on our temples and brainstem at night to just allow our minds to relax, Okay, we are just inundated with being on our phones or TV, iPads, just devices, and we really need to steer away from these LCD digital devices, right? They're going to have a reaction in our brain where they prevent it from producing melatonin in our body, right? And that's going to naturally help start the relaxation process. So I'm looking at some other notes here that I forgot. Let's see. Also, sleep experts say that if you're laying in bed and you're simply not falling asleep and you just can't, sleep experts will tell you to get out of bed, right? And to not associate your body and bed with as something that it's not time for it to do yet, right? So get out of bed, go into a separate room temporarily with dim lights, read that boring book, do something really boring, right? But also, like, a nice nighttime routine, sorry I forgot about all these, is to take a journal and write down and have this kind of social reflection of your day, of people that you've spoken to that had made a positive impact on your day, that it was good to connect with, or also write down things that you've learned. Those are 3 things each that you could write down to just help you feel more fulfilled and have a positive experience. They also say studies will show the effects of scheduling time to be worried or stressed about something. Okay, so if you're just starting off and you're feeling that you are worried and stressed about too many things and you're just feeling off, then it's going to affect your sleep, the quality of sleep that you get. So schedule time in your day to allow for worry and stress. And when you do that, that's not only going to create a more positive experience, but that's going to help structure your time, right? So, and another thing that I like to do, this is just keys to happiness, is to write down something that you have to look forward to. We all have something that we're looking forward to the next day, right? Regardless of whether it's breakfast or that morning cup of coffee or meeting with a friend or going on a new experience or doing something different at work. Like, there's always something that we have to look forward to. So think of that and write that down. That's going to help. Maybe these are all things that we can do as part of our day to just kind of close out, have a ritual, train your brain to focus on all of the good and the reflection that you've had from that day and not the stress. So train your brain to focus on the good and do that as you're shutting down. Let's see, I also wrote down here that a lot of people that I talk to and work with will rely on sleep aids, right? So pharmaceutical sleep aids, and I'm going to highly recommend that you don't do that because of the effects that it's going to have on your brain, or even the unknown effects that this is going to lead to, because a lot of these, there's just new medications being released all the time, and I highly recommend not doing that. And another good thing would be to think about the room temperature of the room. Studies show that in a cool bedroom, you're going to get better qualities of sleep. And of course, we're all different sizes and we all have different temperature gauges, but 68 degrees is kind of that sweet spot to allow yourself to fully cool down, relax, drift off, and your body's going to heat up overnight too. So it's not going to stay 68 degrees in the room. But another good thing is, and then I'll leave you with this, is to listen to a storybook. And they've seen that stress can reduce 68% if you're listening to a storybook, right? So maybe it's Harry Potter or Game of Thrones or something less interesting, but it's going to tell your story to help shut down. And just think about the power of dreams. Think about all the power of good ideas that have come to some of the world's most influential and brilliant men and women on this planet, and how much good really comes from getting the sleep that you need, right? Drifting off and having those dreams to improve something or create something or whatever it is. But anyways, I really wanted to help add value as best I can. I swear by essential oils, and especially for sleep, because they just work in our bodies so well. So I will certainly recommend that for everybody. If you have questions or you'd like to just dive into some oils that might help you with sleep, then go ahead and make a comment below, and I will look forward to being in touch with you. And then also, if this is something that you have enjoyed and you found to be beneficial for you or someone else, please share it. I'm just starting a YouTube channel. I am just starting to be more consistent to you and add value in every way that I can. So please help me share that. And thank you for tuning in. This was longer than I expected, but lots to cover. So talk soon, and sweet dreams. Bye.